Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the cruising show here on Northern Viking Explorer. If you're new here, my name is Ken, and I'm here with my wife, Andrea. We love to cruise, and we want to share our cruising experiences with you and talk about cruising. Today, we are going to be talking about the cruise port of Mazatlán, Mexico. We were there actually, we've been there a few times, and we're going to be sharing some of our experiences with you. Now, this is actually our first live show on this channel, Andrea's first experience with a live show. So we're excited to share this with you. Now, the cool news is we are here on Northern Viking Explorer as a live stream. We're also going out on your favorite podcasting platform. So you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. So you can pick us up there and learn more about cruising. So welcome. There's a whole bunch of you in there. I recognize Carl. Thanks for joining us there, Carl. We've got Tanya. We've got Apalia here. So we're on Facebook and YouTube as well as Twitter right now. You can stream us on Twitter. So Andrea, your thoughts on doing this? Are you excited?
Honestly, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really excited because I really love cruising and I love to talk cruising. So I'm hoping that I can get that excitement with all of you chatting about cruising some more.
For sure. And we'd love to include, we probably won't be able to include all the comments in the show, but if you have comments, pop them in the comment section and we can bring them up on the screen and bring them up. So it's kind of a cool feature in this software here. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it. So Mazatlán, Mexico. I don't know how many of you have been there. Carl, you're at the Hotel Maya. Oh. You're going to be there soon. So you're all good. I think you're waiting for the panorama. No, that's the Vista that's late today, not the panorama. Yeah. So you're all good. I know the Vista in Houston or in Galveston is running late. So you must be excited there, Carl. And yeah, you're not too far from the ship. So that's awesome. You'll be in Mazatlán in a few days then, we see. So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been to Mazatlán, I think, three times.
Yes.
Three times. So we've done it on the Panorama. We've gone there on the Splendor. Yes. And we've also been there on the Mariner of the Seas. So we've been there a few times. And two of the times have been in the summer.
It was hot. Really hot.
It was really hot. And once was in January. So we have a few different kind of weather.
I would say January is a little bit more enjoyable for heat wise. Mm-hmm. August was warm, really warm.
If you love the heat, August was a great time to go. So it's you can definitely get a sunburn in the summer. So
for sure.
So let's go ahead and dive into this. Let me just pull up some stuff here and we'll get rolling. So we're going to start out with talking about sailing into the port and the cruise port itself. So not just like kind of the area where the ship shows up. So I'll just going to pop this up on the screen here. So as you're sailing into Mazatlán, do you want to talk about this? I know you.
Yeah, it's actually really pretty. There's some like small little islands that you go past. I don't know, something about the sun in the morning. It's really pretty and tranquil. So it's worth, watching as you sail in. It's really pretty. But the port itself isn't as pretty though.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. No, for sure.
Yeah.
It's so as you sail in, this is actually probably one of the first things you'll see is kind of a I don't know if you want to call it a bluff or a big rock. Sorry for those of you on the podcast, you'll have to do a Google search. But on this bluff is a big lighthouse.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And there's also something called the Mirador de Cristal.
Yes.
And we haven't done this yet. It's on our kind of bucket list, I guess you would say, for next time we go. So there's a lighthouse up there and a little kind of glass walkway. So that's kind of a cool thing that people go do there. We hope to do that next time, but it's kind of a cool thing when you sail in. That's what it looks like. Now, again, as you'd already mentioned, you are basically sailing into a container port. This is where the ship docks.
It's very, very industrial. You see all the ship containers are stacked up. It is like a working port. It
is definitely a working port. So as you come in, you'll see the ship's docked there. Now you can see in this photo, if you're on the live stream, you can see all sorts of buses, There's actually trolleys there, so you don't get to walk through the container port.
No, not at all.
You actually have to take a trolley. So
the trolley's free.
It is free, yes.
It's free, and I know they do have little signs where they gladly accept tips, but there wasn't pressure to tip. But they keep them going, so it actually moves pretty quick. The people through because they take you right past all the containers.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I'm trying to think. Our last trip, the lineup looked quite long on the Panorama. We waited about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and we left right away.
Yes.
So we were like in the big stream excitement of everybody getting off the ship. So yeah, we waited probably 10 minutes, but the line went fast, even though it was really long.
Yeah, and I think that's the longest we've ever waited there for the trolley. So 10 minutes, yeah, it looked long, but it went really quick because there was several different trolleys.
And coming back was fast. There was no lineup. So I think if we had stayed on the ship a couple minutes, they would have gotten the masses of people through and there wouldn't have been a wait. But, like most people were excited to get going.
Yeah. One thing I don't have this in my notes, but one thing I thought was interesting, there was like drug sniffing dogs when we were waiting to get on the trolley. So I was surprised to see that. We didn't have anything to hide, but I was just surprised to see that. So when you got off the ship, as you were waiting in line, they were walking back and forth with dogs. So
be prepared that you could have a dog walking close to you.
Yes. So definitely an interesting port. It is nice. I love going on, like in Cabo, for example, you get right off you get onto a tender and go into port. I like that experience, but it can definitely take longer. It's much quicker to get off the ship in a port like Mazatlan or even Puerto Vallarta for that example. So Tanya's saying she's going to try El Faro, the lighthouse.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely. It's last time we just got so busy and we would have done it at the end of the day. We just didn't have time. So I
and
definitely.
It was hot, really, really hot. So
yeah. So I'm sure I think most people would just take a taxi. I don't think it's going to be too expensive for a taxi up there because it's not too far from the ship. So yeah, so that's the port. I know we have some other stuff here in the port. Let me just go back to us on full screen and I'll see what we have here. So was there anything else about the port that you wanted to mention? I actually do have one other thing.
Okay.
So when you get your trolley takes you to the little the Port of Mazatlan cruise terminal. So there's a little cruise terminal that the trolley takes you to. The trolley ride's only maybe 2-3 minutes. And you go in there, there's lots of little shopping, there's a pharmacy, you can buy souvenirs, but they have free maps in there. So
oh yes.
Carl, I know Carl's saying it's pouring in I'm assuming it's raining in Long Beach today. So
I heard California got some snow. I saw that on the news.
Oh,
it
really?
made news internationally that you guys had snow.
Hopefully it's not snowing for you there in Long Beach there, Carl. But so when Carl's there, make sure you grab your map in the terminal. So they're a free map that you can grab. And I think there was people that you can talk to in there if you have questions as well.
It's really helpful.
Yeah. So I know what I have next is actually we wanted to talk about taxis. Yes, and taxi pricing. So I know at the port, so after you walk through all the little shops there, you're going to come outside and there's going to be a lot of people trying to get you to take a taxi. So there's taxis inside I don't want to call it a compound, but
there's kind of a drop-off pickup little loop there that they have arranged.
And I don't know if you're watching on the stream, you can probably see that there's a little blue gate. Once you go out that gate, there are taxi drivers everywhere trying to get you to get a ride with them. So you can get them inside the gate, and the pricing I think is actually quite reasonable.
But I'm gonna say, take a picture of the pricing.
Yes, there's a sign here. It's not big.
Yeah, so you don't need to negotiate if you can refer to the set pricing.
Yes. That being said, when we took a taxi from the Cliff Jumper area to the Golden Zone, and this is much further away from the port. It's only $12 to the Golden Zone.
Yeah.
From the Cliff Jumpers, they wanted to charge us $30 at first, and
And you were
then
like,
I said no,
"No,
and
no."
then I just offered them $10, and they were good with that. So it's pretty set here at the port, but once you get out, anything goes. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. So if you know the pricing though, and you refer to it, they'll honor it. So
yeah. So did you want to quickly go over the pricing?
Sure.
Or at least for the main ones?
Yeah. So from the port to Old Town is $7. The aquarium is $9. Cliff Divers is $9. Golden Zone is $12. El Cid is $14. Marina Mazatlán is $20. Emerald Bay $25. The airport is $30. And Estrella Del Mar is $35.
I'm not sure what Estrella Del Mar is.
No, we'll have to look that up.
I'm wondering if it's a resort or something.
And they have like 3 kinds of taxis, the main ones. They have your basic taxi. What I think most people really enjoy is taking those open air taxis. So they do have like I don't want to say like a canvas. There is some kind of sunshade above your head, but they're open and they're really cute actually. And then there's vans for larger groups.
Yes, no, for sure there is. And oh, that's good to know. I didn't know this. Oops.
Where'd it go?
Oh, where'd it go?
It was about the aquarium opening up.
Yeah, so it disappeared, but apparently there's the aquarium.
Oh, it's right there.
Oh, it jumped way up.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. The newest aquarium in Mazatln, I think, opens to the public next month. So that's good to know. I did not know about that. Thank you for listing that, Tanya. I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. So maybe next time we go there.
I know I need to go back.
Now there's all sorts of new things for us to do.
I have to go to the lighthouse and I have to go to the aquarium.
Yeah, there's also a beach that we want to try out. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later.
I think I need a couple cruises.
Awesome. So next up, are you done with taxis, or is there anything else you want to say?
I would say that the taxi drivers can be pretty aggressive when you're walking around town trying. Like if you're just strolling around, that they want to pick you up, like trying to convince you, like, are you sure you don't want to ride?
When you exit the port area, probably the most aggressive taxi drivers I have ever seen at a cruise port.
Yeah.
Maybe other than Amber Cove. Outside of Amber Cove.
We've even experienced that up around the Cliff Divers and stuff, like, come on, don't you want to ride? Don't you want to ride? And they'll actually pull up next to you sometimes and honk and try to convince you that you shouldn't walk. So just be prepared that that's kind of normal. Yeah.
So if you walk out the gate, next up, we're going to actually be talking about the blue line. So once you walk out the gate and past the taxis, they kind of all stop, but there's probably 100 feet of taxi drivers all trying to give you a lift to the Golden Zone or to downtown. Yeah. So
it helps though if you know what you're planning to do and you just say, hey, no, I know where I'm going. I'm good.
Yeah. So that being said, if you don't want to take a taxi, and taxis are great, like we said, they're a good price there. There's something called the blue line. So if you'd like to walk into the Old Town area, they've created what they call the safe way into Old Town, and it's following a blue line on the road. So you can see it's actually on the road as well as on the sidewalk. Now it goes most of the way into Old Town, kind of stops at the edge of Old Town. But it takes you the safe way there. And one time we tried to
go left when we got off the cruise ship.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So one time
we went the wrong way.
One time we came out the gate and turned right, and everyone was like, "Nope, stop, go the other way."
Yeah, you're right. It was right.
So they said that's not the safe way. They do want you to follow the blue line, and along the blue line,
lots of police.
Yes.
At a lot of the corners, and there's also like tourist. The Friends of Mazatln.
Friends of Mazatln.
You'll find them in blue T-shirts, and it'll say Friends of Mazatln. They're volunteers that actually are trying to support and help grow the tourism in Mazatln. So they're not selling anything. They are just there to help.
Yes, and they were very helpful and friendly to talk to. Some of them, a lot of them are just live there part of the year.
They don't want tips. They don't want any money. They really care about Mazatln. They're really passionate.
That being said, we've run into people wearing blue shirts
that were not
part of that. So
in the exact same color outside of a business that were trying to sell things. So
just be careful of that. All of a sudden, you think you're talking to one of the
Now,
friends of Mazatln, and then you're not.
how do we explain, how do you find the blue line? So when you step out of those gates from the taxi,
so let me just, I'll go back to this photo.
yeah.
So as you walk out of the gates here, you'll see this kind of blue arch, and turn left as you come out of the gate, and you're, I don't know, it's probably only 50 feet. There's a crosswalk
across the street,
and you cross the street, and the blue, you'll see the OXO.
That's probably what I would look for, is the OXO.
Yeah, the OXO. So I'll just, it looks like this. There's an OXO.
It's on the corner.
It's on the corner, and at that, right by the OXO is where the blue line starts.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
that's what I would look for. And you'll see like a lot of people streaming that way, walking in a line.
Yeah. So I don't know if we wrote this down. Do you remember how long of a walk it is into Old Town?
I want to say it was about a kilometer, so 0.6 of a mile roughly.
Yeah, maybe.
And it was
depending on what part. Maybe maybe a little bit longer if you're going to the market and that. Yeah. So the beginning of Old Town's probably, I think let's call it a mile roughly into Old Town.
It's pretty flat. It's not like steep. What I really like about it though, Mazatln, I love Mazatln for this. They have so many beautiful flowers, and the houses are painted like these bright colors. So you have these like blue houses with yellow flowers on top and beautiful gates. And so when you're walking along, it's really pretty. And I enjoy the walk because you can take the time to look and appreciate those things, which I like.
Yeah.
But I actually have one point that I kind of forgot. Wear good walking shoes and be prepared that the sidewalks may not be the same that you're used to, and that they can change levels or heights or the curbs. Like watch where you're walking and be careful, because they don't have the same like level sidewalks all the way.
Yes, I would agree. I would say that on a lot of cruise ports.
Yeah.
Especially in Mexico or in the Caribbean.
Sometimes the coverings are missing for
or there'll be little holes. So
or like, from where it's in front of one house to the next, it might jump up 6 inches. So you need to like keep an eye, because you don't want to twist an ankle or worse.
Yeah,
that can sour a day really fast. So wear good shoes and watch where you're walking.
That's for sure. There's nothing worse than accidentally stepping off a curb or something.
Which is like usually me, because I'm looking at the flowers.
All right. Well, anything else you wanted to say about the blue line? I think it's the safe way into town.
I appreciate it. I felt safe. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's really enjoyable.
Yeah. So if you are able to walk, it's a really nice walk, and you get to see a lot of old kind of buildings, and it's nice. It's nice. Yeah. So let's jump over to Old Town, because Old Town is one of my favorite parts of Mazatln.
It is cool.
It is cool. If you haven't been there before, there's a big market that's fun to walk through. There's a big cathedral. There's a big square.
Yeah.
And lots of different, like I'd popped this up already, but this is kind of one of the squares in that area, on kind of next to or a little bit closer to the port than from the church. So
kind of just prior to Old Town.
The only thing I'm gonna laugh about this, if you're on the stream, not on the podcast, I took this beautiful picture, or maybe you took it, and then I realized there's a garbage bag right in the middle of it, and I'm like, oh, when we got home. But it's a beautiful
with a random garbage bag.
Yeah, with a random garbage bag. But you can see that this area, other than the garbage bag, is quite clean. It's well maintained. Just a really nice area to walk around there in Mazatln. So about a mile to there. So we wanted to start out by talking about the market.
Yeah. You know what we kind of jumped past though? Let's just jump back, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna this I think is, I hate to be like, it's brilliant, I love this, but I really like when you get off the ship and into the port, before you start the blue line, there is the OXO we were talking about.
Oh yes.
Because it's so hot, you're gonna need to get some drinks. And Ken and I have ruined so many vacations by getting dehydrated. and not thinking about getting a beverage, getting some water or some soda, Gatorade, that kind of thing, whatever you need. It's really reasonable. You can stop in there, get your water and stuff, and put it in a backpack or carry it with you. Stay hydrated.
We carry small backpacks, and when we see the OXXO, or there's also one called the Kiosk.
Yeah.
So their beverages there are extremely inexpensive. So even this sign, I believe that's 2 waters for 20.9 pesos, which is
just over US dollar.
Yeah,
right?
just over US dollar for 2 waters. So Gatorade's cheap, probably $1. Soda if you want that.
And they do accept US cash. I have had though where they give you pesos back, so I like to bring low denominations. So bring lots of 1s and 5s. That way you're not, unless you want lots of pesos back.
Yeah, highly recommend bringing lots of small bills just for, and they all took US dollars. Yes,
but they don't all give back change in US dollars.
Yeah, I should mention that for the taxis as well. They all took US dollars.
Yes, we paid cash.
The prices were in US dollars. So small denominations, just so you can, you're not trying to get too much change back is always easier. So we were going to talk about the Old Town area, and I think we were going to start with the market.
The market.
So let me look at my notes here. The market is called Pino Suarez.
Yeah.
And it's about a block behind the cathedral.
Correct. Yes.
So really nice place to visit. It's pretty authentic, I would say. So it's right across from Tellez. So if you're looking for it, it's Tellez. You don't actually really see the entrance very well.
No, and if you're on the podcast, Tellez is in red. It's a really big sign, so it's easy to find. That's the sign I would look for.
And once you go inside, it's quite authentic in there. Like lots of hats, lots of clothing. There's the meat section. So
the food is my favorite.
I love walking through all it's kind of like a massive butcher shop. So there's you'll see pig heads, you'll see fish, you'll see beef, you'll see it all in there.
And we don't see that in our market, like whole animals.
So it's definitely authentic, and you can buy lots of souvenirs in there, Mazatlán stuff. So it's definitely a fun stop. It's free to walk through. Maybe you'll pick up some Mexican candies or different things in there. But it's,
even shoes, leather shoes.
The smell of the leather shoes
was intense.
So really an interesting place to check out for sure, and I'd highly recommend it. So especially if you haven't been there before, it's just a fun experience. So
I see Tanya said Pulmonia. Is that the name of the taxi?
Oh, I think that's from a while back, but I think
that's the open air taxi. But I'm probably butchering the Spanish.
Awesome.
Thanks, Tanya.
So from there, in that same area of Old Town, you'll find the Cathedral.
Yes.
Which is awesome. I really enjoy visiting the
One
cathedral.
of my favorite things, though, is the contrast. Like every time I've gone to Mazatlan, it has been beautiful blue skies. And so you have this bright yellow cathedral against the blue.
Yes.
And it takes amazing photos.
Last time we were there, the bells went off while we were there, and it's just the noise. If you've watched our Mazatlán vlog, and I know it's in the link, there's a link in the description of the YouTube video here where you can go to the playlist, go check out the Mazatlán vlog. The bells that go off in the cathedral, the video doesn't do it justice because it just rings and echoes through the whole square. So it's really cool that way. It is free to enter. They do accept donations, I'm sure.
They do that in a little box.
But it's absolutely stunning in there, and I highly recommend checking that out. And again, if you check out the vlog, we do go inside the cathedral there in the vlog. So really fun stop. And then across from the cathedral, what's it called?
The Republic Square?
Plaza Republica Square.
Yeah.
So
that street is pretty busy though, between the cathedral and you kind of feel like you're in a park setting. So
it's interesting. There's all the shoe shiners there,
Yes.
and there's the pigeons. You can go
Yes.
feed the pigeons.
Yeah.
And we didn't feed the pigeons this time. In San Juan, we fed the pigeons.
Yeah.
That was fun. If you haven't seen a picture, if you go back to our Mardi Gras vlog from last spring, there's actually, I made a little video of just us feeding the pigeons. I think it's a short video, but you can find it on the channel. But we were just covered in pigeons. I think I even got
a little
doo-doo on my shirt, but that I didn't notice till later. But
it was, I don't remember the exact pricing in Mazatlán, but it wasn't very expensive to buy seeds if you wanted to feed the pigeons. I didn't see that the pigeons were going on top of people this time, though. They were just kind of throwing the food on the ground. So. Yeah.
And so it's so the park across from the cathedral is it's kind of a square in the middle. So there's all sorts of palm trees in there. There's a little what would you call it? A gazebo in the middle. Yeah. Was there even free Wi-Fi? I can't remember.
I don't remember. There may have been.
The sign was in Spanish, so I'm not sure. There might have been free Wi-Fi. But so it's kind of this square. It's actually quite beautiful, and you can see the cathedral's just across the way from it. So I always love visiting this area. And there is also another, so on the Blue Line, when you get off the ship, there's an OXXO and a Kiosco halfway to this area, and then there's an OXXO right next to the square here as well. So lots of options to get beverages along the way.
But what isn't as easy, we didn't put this in our notes, is finding restrooms or washrooms. They're not as publicly available. I meant to look. There was a few places that you could use the restrooms, but they're definitely harder to find.
Yes, I know. On the way there, we went once. I feel like it was a museum or something.
Museum or maybe an art gallery. There was like a little,
And then we also, one time we used the restaurant let us use their facilities.
But
you can't count on
ask.
that.
It was pretty fancy, and we were like walking through like we're hiking.
And especially that time we were there in August, it was so hot and sweaty. So awesome.
We were grateful.
Yes. So from there, one thing that you might want to check out, and not too far from this area, is the Angel Flores Street.
This is one of my favorites. Again, it's the flowers. It's the most beautiful array of colors. The houses are painted in these bright colors.
Yes.
And then beautiful florals right in front of the building. It is so pretty. Yes,
I would agree. It's one of my favorite streets to walk up. It starts basically right by the square, and this street will take you right over to the ocean to Ola's Atlas Beach. So if you're planning on walking to the ocean, make sure you take this route, because it's this
does have more incline though.
Yeah, there is a bit of an incline. So I think I might have the it's called Cathedral Angel Flores Street. So
and I think that was under a mile again.
It wasn't too far. It wasn't too far over to the Ola's Atlas Beach. So beautiful street, lots of colors on there, little kind of mini palm trees and things. Now there is a library along that street as well, and from what we can see, it is still temporarily closed, but there were signs for free Wi-Fi when they are open, I believe. So if you're there and you're looking for free Wi-Fi, see if the library is open. I'd love to know about that. And
I'm not sure what's happening there.
If you're watching this down the road, maybe comment if the library opened up. If you're just looking for a place to get some maybe Wi-Fi, air conditioning. And I'm wondering if they might have restrooms in there too if they're open. So
good point.
Yeah. So, but Angel Flores, one of our favorite places. It's really beautiful. Grab a camera and take some
so
pictures.
Pretty.
All right. From there, Ola's Atlas Beach and the Malecon.
I love this. When I think of going back to Mazatlán, this is where I want to be. I think this is a beautiful area. It's not too busy, but yet it still has lots of restaurants. But it's not that downtown busy feeling.
Yeah. So we walked here.
Yeah.
I would say it's about 2 miles or less from the ship.
Yeah.
So
That's
just
not
for
too
your
far.
reference. So I would say the square is maybe about a little bit more than halfway, or roughly halfway.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful walk over here to the beach. There were people swimming in the beach, and there's also a free public swimming pool, and we'll get to that in a moment.
It's where the Malecon starts too. So the really wide walkway.
Yeah, so the walkway you see there, you can walk all the way down to the Golden Zone on that. But once you get here to the Olis Atlas Beach, there's also a really cool square that you need to check out. Or it's part of, let me look at my notes here, the Cavern Club, just outside of the Cavern Club. So there's the Beatles are here. There's a little Mini Cooper, a yellow submarine, and a Marilyn Monroe statue. Now, I'm going to mention this. I saw someone say, "Where is the Marilyn Monroe statue?" So I want confirmation that that is still there.
Oh, they think they might have moved it.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
if someone goes there, let us know if the Marilyn Monroe statue is still there.
There's a lot of fun places to take photos too. You've got the old telephone booth, and you can get pictures with the Beatles statues, and it's just a fun place to get some photos.
Marilyn Monroe, smaller than the one in Palm Springs.
Oh yeah,
way smaller. So, but it's still a fun thing to go grab photos there. So, like a lot of people, like even all the flags and everything there was a lot of fun.
It's really cute.
Mm-hmm. So from there,
this is a highlight of mine, going to the pool. So, what is the pool called?
The pool, let me look at my notes here.
Carpa
Oliveira Pool. So along the Malecon there, when you're walking, there's lots of statues to look at. There's the Diablo Cave. So lots of little things. And the pool, I'll pull this up again, is an outdoor pool. So if you look
concrete.
It's concrete. So the Olis Atlas Beach is just off to the left there. So it's maybe a couple 100 yards from the Olis Atlas Beach. There's this concrete pool that's full of seawater, and you can go swimming there for free.
Now the ocean, when the waves get big, they splash over into the pool, and there's also a concrete water slide. Now the water slide doesn't run all the time, and I should have paid closer attention. You actually asked the guy working there. He turned it on.
He turned it on. He said that the filter's full of sand, so they can only turn it on for a short period of time. So you can slide down the slide. It was pretty fun. But when you went, it was a little drier.
Well, I didn't tell them, so I kind of had to scoot down. But this is a thing every time we've gone to Mazatlan, I've wanted to go swimming in this pool. It just looked super authentic and fun. The one thing is, though, is it algae?
Yes.
So the whole, when you're getting into the pool, there's like a ramp that goes down, and it's covered in algae. So it's very, very slippery.
Yes, it was.
Even the bottom is quite slippery.
Yes. So be really careful if you're going in there, because it was.
Now, when you
slippery.
went down the water slide,
yeah,
you lost your sunglasses.
I did lose my sunglasses. They went flying off my head, and then a guy's like, "Hey, I found some sunglasses," and he was all excited. I'm like, "Those are my sunglasses."
Yeah.
So
thankfully you got them back.
Yeah,
there's washrooms there. They charge I think it was 50 cents to get in. Do you have
it's 50 cents or 10 pesos to get in.
There is
each time.
So if you're
per person,
it doesn't matter. If you're changing or using the bathroom. Now
it wasn't a change room though. It was a bathroom stall. So you're changing in a bathroom stall. And
the toilets, you have to use water to flush them from a bucket. So it's not running. When we went, it was a little rustic. Yes, it definitely was. But the guy working there was super friendly and had really good English, and he was quite entertaining to talk to. Yeah, no, very friendly. Yeah. And so just be prepared. 50 cents. And I didn't change. I didn't see any lockers or anything though. No, we had our son with us, so we kind of just rotated. Might be a good idea though if you have like one of those waterproof bags for your money or whatever. Would be a good idea. Because it would have been fun to all have been able to swim together.
I didn't really see any sketchy people, but you never know.
I don't know. There were other people from the cruise there at the same time, but I wouldn't leave my wallet.
No.
No.
The other kind of thing we wanted to talk about in this area as well is where you are going to find the cliff jumpers. Now, unfortunately, the day we were there this last time, they weren't there. They had either already finished or hadn't come on yet.
I heard they were there later.
Oh, they were there later.
So we somehow, I don't know if they take breaks or what, but we missed them.
Yeah. So we have seen them in previous trips to Mazatln.
This is pretty close. How far of a walk? It's like
probably
half mile?
a quarter mile.
Or, yeah,
it's not very far. So from the pool, you just continue down towards the Golden Zone.
It is a little bit of an incline going up there, though. It's not as flat.
Yeah. It's not bad, but it's not totally flat. So they jump off that tower there over the rocks and into the ocean. Now I don't know. It's possible, we haven't looked, if they post their times online.
That's something to look into.
That would be good to know.
If you do stop and watch, they'll be prepared. They do have people who go out and collect tips for their diving. So if you're going to stand around and watch, just make sure you have maybe some ones available.
So I'm going to go back to this. Tanya was saying, so you lost your glasses in Mazatlan and her in Cabo. Yes. So I lost mine on the slide there. I did get mine back, but Andrea got...
No, the ocean has mine.
Yeah, Andrea's prescription Oakleys are in Cabo. So Carl, if you find some Oakleys there in Cabo at Lovers Beach, give us a call. So so the diving area is really fun.
That was fun. Yeah.
So next up, any other thoughts on this area?
No, there were some more vendors in that area too, like where you could buy hats or t-shirts up around the diving.
So next up, we are going to talk about the Golden Zone, which is a very popular area. Now, before we dive into that, let's mention that we have walked all the way to the Golden Zone.
Yeah, that
was a long walk.
That was about 12 years ago when
I wouldn't recommend doing it. We did it in January when the weather was really mild with flip-flops. And
but it's beautiful. Okay, so it's probably 7-8 kilometers on the Malecon that you can walk
from
that
this
portion.
From this point.
From that point.
4.5 miles from this point to the Golden Zone.
It's a beautiful walk. And when we did it that time, we walked all the way and then we took a taxi back. And that is what we did for the day. And we really enjoyed it. Like, it was a beautiful stroll along the ocean.
When we've gone in August, I would never do it. Then
too hot.
It's too hot.
Too hot.
But in January, if you like walking, if you're worried about it, there's lots of taxis. You can always just grab a taxi and go back. But
it's from this point though that they tried to charge us $30 for the taxi. So
so we took a taxi from here over to the Golden Zone, and again, this is where they tried to charge us $30 instead of the $12 from the
port the whole way. So but by knowing that, you can say, hey, no, I'm only paying 10 or whatever.
So so we took the taxi over there. Let me see, to the Golden Zone, and this is a fun area as well. I find Old Town and the Olis Atlas my favorite part, but this is fun to get down here. This is where you're going to find the Mazatlan sign. This sign was, and I don't know if this is always the case, there wasn't a lot of people waiting to take a photo here.
Yeah.
So in Puerto Vallarta, it was packed with people taking a photo. When we were, I'm trying to think where it was, Amber Cove, there was 50 people in line to take a photo with it. So I think there was only one person just walking away when we were here. So
it was quiet.
Yeah. So this is right across, kind of diagonal from the McDonald's in the Golden Zone.
It's kind of like the very beginning of the Golden Zone area.
So there's a big roundabout as you come in there. It's diagonal from that, right on the water. So if you look off way in the distance of this photo, that's roughly where the Olis Atlas Beach was.
Sorry to pick up. I think the taxi driver would have driven us further into the Golden Zone, but we asked to be dropped off at the McDonald's.
Yes, because we knew the sign was across the way from it. So.
Yeah. So it's kind of where the city begins again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. So fun little area. This area is well known for the hotels. There's it's more modern, a lot of modern restaurants. So Senor Frogs, there's different restaurants like that. All your classic fast food restaurants are there again too. McDonald's and
was there Starbucks?
I don't remember seeing a Starbucks. I would have stopped in there. We like collecting our Starbucks mugs for those of you who don't know.
I don't.
I'll show you.
Yeah,
I'm using the Los Cabos
let
mug.
us know. Have you seen Starbucks in Mazatlán?
I would assume there's one, but maybe it's in a different area. So, yeah. So there's even kind of a grocery shopping mall a little bit further away, but it's kind of all in that area. A lot of hotels, a lot of little shops, souvenir shops,
and big hotels.
Big hotels.
Yeah.
So that's where in the Golden Zone you're also going to find. Do you remember this beach's name?
No, I don't.
I think I have it written down. It was Playa Gobiatas, Seagull Beach.
Seagull Beach.
Seagull. We'll call it Seagull Beach. Yeah. So this is complimentary to enter, and there's different things you can do here. People are swimming. There's parasailing. There's little, little places you can get beverages and things down here. So fun little stuff as well.
And there was a band, I guess. I was reading up, it's actually common in Mazatlán. There'll be bands that walk up and down the beach and they'll stop and play music. So it's fun to see.
Yeah, no, it is a fun place to visit. We've gone there a few times. And yeah, lots of, like you can see, there's a lot of people swimming here. Mazatlan's gorgeous. I wouldn't say that it's the nicest beaches I've ever seen. I think Cabo I enjoy their beaches better, but it's definitely nice. And that kind of brings me, I've seen a lot of comments about Stone Island Beach.
So that's also on our bucket list. So between the lighthouse and Stone Beach, we have to go back.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, I want to go back.
So yeah, Stone Island Beach, I think is closer to the ship, but on the other side of the ship. So I think you
take a little boat.
I think you can take a little boat. I'm assuming a taxi could take you there as well, but I think a lot of people take a boat. So yeah, that's Stone Island Beach. But yeah, I think so that's kind of the Golden Zone. Any other thoughts on the Golden Zone?
No, it's just a lot of vendors and the typical shopping. Yeah, it's a busy place.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of all we have to say. I don't know if anyone has any questions out there. You're welcome to ask them, and we'll see if we can get to some of them while we're out there. So I appreciate you all for joining us today, for sure.
Yes, thank you.
Anything else you want to say?
I think that's it. We really love Mazatlán.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we appreciate you all joining us today. And again, this is the cruising show here on Northern Viking Explorer. And you'll be able to listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform. And we're going to try to come live here on Northern Viking Explorer more often, so you can join us. And we will be talking about different cruise ports, cruise ships, and everything about cruising. So I think we'll wind it down there. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Remember to hit that subscribe button. And we appreciate all of you. Until next time, have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.